Whether they're laid back or they are on you like flies on a turd, police supervisors can make or break a shift. Let's look at the 5 main types of police bosses. Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you are having a fantastic week so far. I know it's been a long time since I've put out a video. This is probably, in 2.5 years, this is probably the longest I have gone without doing a video. After my last one, honestly guys, I kind of just wanted to take a break for a couple weeks. It's really hard coming up with content after putting consistent videos out for the past 2.5 years now. So I kind of just want to take a break, kind of gather my thoughts. Lots of stuff going on in my personal life. Good stuff. It's all good stuff now. Real quick before I start the video, I wanted to tell you guys I'm so excited about this. I now have Officer 401 bottle openers. So I'm going to put a link in the description box below, and anything you order on that site, you can get 15% off using the promo code Officer 401. My logo on the front, blue line flag on the back. Very durable product. We've all had good bosses and we've had bad bosses in the workplace. But having a good supervisor in law enforcement can mean the difference between having a shift that works really well together or having a shift of people that want nothing to do with each other. Most departments have several different ranks before you reach supervisor. So sometimes you might have police officer 1, police officer 2, master police officer 1, 2, and 3 before you even reach the rank of a supervisor. But it's not usually until you get to the rank of sergeant that you're considered a supervisor finally. If you guys want more details about ranks, look through my videos. I think it was like 2 years ago, I put out a video about the police ranking system. Now, not all departments are like this, but the 2 departments that I have worked for, every officer on the road that's not supervisor status, their badge and their insignia on their collar is silver. Once you reach the rank of sergeant or above, everything changes to gold. Again, I know not every department's like that, but if you could tell there's a difference, like let's say there's 2 officers standing beside each other, one has silver, one has gold, the one wearing gold is probably going to be the supervisor. And on average, it takes between 8 and 10 years until you're really eligible to make sergeant. Now, when I say eligible, you might be eligible on paper. You know, I've met people that would make great sergeants after like 4 years. And I've met people that have been cops for 20 years that should never be a sergeant. It depends on intellect, common sense, how you treat people. Anyway, you guys know, there's a lot of factors that go into a good boss. A lot of people ask me, well, what law dictates, you know, when I'm eligible to become a sergeant or a lieutenant or whatever? There is no state law, as far as in Georgia, there is no state law that dictates when you can or you can't become a supervisor. In law enforcement, it's all dependent on your department's policy. And every department has a different policy when it comes to that. Some require college, others require just a lot of advanced training hours. It just depends. But one thing I have learned throughout the years is there are plenty of people that are promoted to sergeant that have no business being a sergeant. Let's start with number 1, the micromanager. The micromanager is one of the hardest types of supervisors to work for. It never fails. Every single call you go to, they're asking you to give them a 1021, which means a phone call. Give them a 1021 on the radio because they want to know what's going on. They don't care if you're in the middle of like separating people and there's chaos on scene. You better stop and go call them. Or even worse, they show up at every single one of your calls and they're trying to dictate what they want you to do. Supervisors that are constantly riding their guy's ass and they're telling them what to do and this and that, it's very easy for them to do that because they get to sit back and you are the one that has to do the footwork. You're the one that has to do the paperwork, not them. And what I have learned throughout the years, guys, and this is one of those things that you will never be taught in any academy, okay? This is kind of just life experience in law enforcement. If you have somebody that shows up on your calls and they're telling you, hey, you need to go arrest that guy, no problem. Go arrest him, but then when you write your report later on in that day, Sergeant so-and-so instructed me to go arrest John Smith. The more you put their name in your reports, they're going to start getting subpoenaed to these court cases with you. Now let's be realistic here. They can't tell you that they don't want their name in the report because you guys are fact finders. Once you become cops, you are a fact finder. So if my supervisor is instructing me to arrest another person and that's not my decision, then that needs to be in the report. That should be officially documented. So after a few times of having to go to court on their day off, maybe they'll back off a little bit on the micromanaging. Police supervisor type number 2. Retired on duty. Retired on duty is when you have a sergeant or a lieutenant that's been with the department for it's usually 25 years or more, and they are on their way out the door. They are ready to retire. Only a few more years and they don't have to see this place ever again. Sometimes these can be really good supervisors because they don't usually ride your ass. They're pretty well known just to be kind of lackadaisical, and they let everybody on shift kind of do their own thing, just do whatever they want. A lot of times this can be frustrating though, because people that are retired on duty, they don't like to answer questions. So if you show up on a call and you have questions about it and you call them, a lot of times they can make you feel like you're an inconvenience. I'm sorry for interrupting. The Price is Right for you, sir. But trust me, having a supervisor that is retired on duty is 10 times better than working for a micromanager. Supervisor type number 3. The butt kisser. The butt kisser is usually well known for being that supervisor that loves cutting up and standing around talking to people of the same rank or higher in the department. It's the sergeant that's always hanging out in the lieutenant's office, or it's the lieutenant that's always hanging out in the captain's office. Then here you come with a question and all laughter stops and they look at you like you're an idiot. The butt kissers are usually the people that are trying to get into that good old boy system and get their foot in the door as far as the next promotion. And this is an interesting type of supervisor because a lot of times they can kind of merge with micromanagers. They are constantly worried about the people above them getting onto them, heaven forbid, so they're gonna ride you. Police supervisor type number 4. The one-upper. I have to give credit where credit is due. When I was coming up with the idea for this video, I was trying to find these 5 types of police supervisors, and I was trying to think of titles. So I actually reached out to Bama. So thank you, Bama. Shout out to Bama. He is actually the one that gave me the title for this one, the one-upper. So simply put, the one-upper is comparable to the jock in high school. It's the police supervisor that spends way more time at work or the gym than they do at home. I had a former supervisor, I swear, he lived at the department. Every day that he was off, I would see his vehicle parked behind the station. He was walking around in plain clothes. Guys, I love my job to no end. I really do. But remember what I told you before. When you are off duty, be off duty. Don't be that guy that's listening to his radio when you're off, wondering if there's something that's gonna pop off that you can call in and try to get involved in. Some people do that and they get burned out within their first 2 or 3 years of policing. Other people do that their entire career and it drives everybody else nuts. And a lot of times these are very much your kind of stereotypical alpha male cops that feel like they have something to prove. These are the type of cops that would probably write their own mother a ticket for jaywalking. I know it sounds like I'm just simply bashing this type of officer. Let me also sprinkle some good in there. Sometimes these can be some of the best supervisors you ever have. These are the types of supervisors that will stand up for you. These are the guys that run a very tight shift and they want everybody to look presentable, professional. So having a one-upper as a boss can be frustrating sometimes, but they will usually be there to bat for you when other supervisors will cower. Police supervisor type number 5, and the last one, the perfect sergeant. I say the perfect sergeant, but this could also apply to a lieutenant. The perfect sergeant is logical, they're intelligent, and most importantly, they're well-rounded. It's usually someone that has a lot of common sense and they're very nice to people. This is the sergeant that goes to bat in your defense but does not micromanage you. They actually understand the concept that you are an adult and you have been given a gun and a badge with a responsibility to protect people and possibly take their freedom. But the most important part is that they treat you fairly. These are the types of supervisors that instead of holding calls when everybody's busy, they'll actually go out there and take one themselves. Guys, after you do this job for so long, there's certain aspects of it, especially the paperwork, that will make you very burned out. So I can say from personal experience, at least 50% of the sergeants in a department are probably not going to take a report if they don't absolutely have to. Very rarely does a supervisor speak up and just get a case number and do the report themselves. I've seen supervisors, there's 5 calls pending, there's 5 calls holding, and they're not going to take one of them because they know every one of them is going to need some sort of documentation. So you'd rather hold them for your guys that all have 8 reports already that they have to do by the end of shift while you're sitting at the office. Now, to an extent, I do agree that they have earned their spot. I get that. And I don't expect the supervisor to step up and just take a report every single day. They've done their time. They work patrol. Now it's their job to be a supervisor. But like I said, when every officer on shift has 8 reports, it's nice to hear them step up and be like, you know what, dispatch, I will take that one. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Those are the 5 main types of police supervisors. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am so excited to have these bottle openers out now. The guy that does these is actually a cop too, so let's show him some love. He gave me a discount code to use on the site, and he wanted me to tell you guys it's good for the entire site. It's not just my product. So if you guys see something else on his site that you enjoy, toss it in the cart. Use Officer 401 as the promo code and you get 15% off. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. It feels good to make a video again. I will see you guys. I'll probably do a live stream at some point during this weekend. So join us for that, guys, and I will talk to you very, very soon.